And welcome back on Take Action News. This is Daniel Marins in the host chair here on this Saturday, March 23rd. We're continuing our conversation with Michael Cohen, who is a columnist. If you don't read him yet, I highly recommend him. He is really just very intelligent. So go to guardian.co.uk and search for Michael Cohen. You can follow him at Twitter at SpeechBoy71. Michael is also the author of Live from the Campaign Trail, the greatest presidential campaign speeches of the 20th century and how they shaped modern America. Michael is currently working on a book about the 1968 presidential campaign, which, as many people know, was one of the most contentious and pivotal presidential campaigns in the 20th century and really in recent modern history. Michael, so there was another issue that President Obama spoke with Prime Minister Netanyahu about, and that is the issue of Syria. We know that this is a civil war now that's been going on for more than a year, in which the Assad government is essentially fending off a tremendous armed rebellion and has killed tens of thousands of Syrians in the name of doing that. The Free Syrian Army, as they're now being called, or whatever representative body of these Syrian rebel groups is out there, and it seems like there might be more than one, is now receiving financial and to some extent military aid from Western powers. This seemed to take a different turn this week, however, when the possibility was discussed by senior intelligence people in the intelligence community and security experts that Syria the Assad government, which is certainly, people believe it is a matter of time until it falls, they may be considering deploying or using chemical weapons on their own people, which could create a tremendous amount of regional instability. Can you tell us a little bit about what exactly that threat is and how credible it is?
I mean, from everything that I have read on this issue, Syria does appear to have a rather robust WMD capability. There's been a lot of reports of these weapons being used in the conflict, both by the Syrians and by the rebels. It's interesting. I mean, what Obama said this week was that this was a red line. This would be a game changer, I think was the words that he used, if Syria were to use chemical weapons, which, not to sound overly cynical here, but I think that's a twofold statement. One is I don't think they want to get into a situation where Syria is using chemical weapons that would change the nature of the conflict. I also think that the Obama administration wants to avoid a situation in which they're being dragged into a war in Syria. And so I think in a way, telling Assad not to do that was also a way of hoping that he won't do it. But I don't think the U.S. wants to get involved in this war. I mean, one thing I will say about the Obama administration's response to Syria is that they have basically stuck to the position that they're not going to get involved in this militarily. And as the violence has gotten steadily worse, and I mean, it's really at somewhat horrific levels at this point. And I think I read this week that it's actually more violent than the Iraq War. The administration has really stuck to this position of saying we're not going to get involved. We're not going to send military capabilities there. And you're seeing increasing pressure coming from the Hill to do just that. You had Lindsey Graham saying we should consider putting boots on the ground, which is sort of an extreme response, and one that I think is made by someone who doesn't have to back up the consequences of that kind of decision. But then you have Carl Levin saying we should put a no-fly zone over Syria. I don't think it'll make much of a difference in the current conflict, but it certainly does suggest that there is mounting frustration on the Hill over what's happening in Syria. Having said that, I just don't see a big change in the administration position. I think they have stuck to this notion that they're not going to sort of do what the critics want them to do and get involved, and I think they'll probably maintain that for the foreseeable future. But having said that, it's going to get harder to do that, right? I mean, it's going to get harder to simply say we're sitting this one out, especially if the violence gets worse and worse, and especially if WMD ends up being utilized.